And then the following week after that, after this Sunday, we're going to talk about pivotal circumstances. And so you have a little special guest for that as well. So
he's not really very little.
Well, no, that's actually very true.
He's a grown-up.
So tell us a little bit about pivotal circumstances. One of the things that I always find intriguing about this particular list of 5 is that the previous 4, we get to choose whether we're going to do it or not. Now, we shouldn't choose not to. All of them are very, very important. This last one, we don't really get to choose. Pivotal circumstances happen, whether you like it or not.
That's right.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, obviously, a pivotal circumstance is when you're going along in life, and then all of a sudden, you're stopped dead in your tracks because of an event or something that has happened in someone else's life, an event, and that circumstance has made you pivot.
Yeah.
It's made you have to stop and turn or go a different direction or just stop, period.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to face the things that are going on around you, the maybe the consequences of something that happened, or and this last year, oh my goodness, this last year was a pivotal circumstance in everyone's life. I mean, there's no one exempted in that one. We all went through this pivotal circumstance of a worldwide pandemic, and quite honestly, it brought about all kinds of other pivotal circumstances.
Yes, it did.
It caused unrest. It caused economic issues. It caused political issues. There's just people disagreeing over everything. It was just because the conflict itself of just the change and everything, and that pivotal circumstance made made everybody have to deal with their own mortality.
Yeah.
Because of it was a pandemic, potential of getting this virus, and then, you could literally die from it.
Right.
And many people did.
Yeah.
And, you might even be listening to this and somebody who did, or you nearly did yourself. And that brought you to a point to where how do I deal with this, and what do I do? And if you didn't have a faith of your own to be able to actually, lean on that and lean into the circumstances, then the pivoting was not as easy.
No.
It wasn't as easy. And, maybe it was great loss. It could have created all kinds of conflict in relationships. So much we could talk about that it could have done. It wasn't just a physical thing. It hit a lot of people. And then the rampant anxiety and depression that's going on among people who have been isolated or because they've lost something so dear to them.
Right.
And I don't even think we've seen this completely to where grief is going to, there's going to be this grieving process as we start to phase life back in. And as we're already seeing it, obviously. And so, those pivotal circumstances, God, allows or whatever, and we can easily go to those statements. The crazy thing that you hear at church a lot is God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And quite honestly, I took that out of my preaching vocabulary because God does allow things that are bigger than you and harder, because it allows us then to depend on Him.
Yes.
And to grow our faith in Him and draw us closer to Him.
Right.
And so honestly, that's critical.
Yeah, almost every single day is filled with things that are beyond our capacity, or that are more than what we could handle on our own. I don't think that there's any biblical principle there that says that you'll never face anything that's beyond your reach or beyond your capacity or more than what you can handle. Now, I understand that the people who say that, what they mean is that, God knows what you're capable of handling if you include Him in the process, but yeah, it just...
But that assumes a lot
it sure
out
does.
of the person who hears it.
It sure does.
And that's why it's crazy. A lot of people have chosen, and a phrase that I've used throughout the series is those crazy things you hear either makes you lose, refuse, or choose a faith of your own.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you hear a statement like that, God doesn't take you through anything more than you can handle. And yes, it may be an assumption that you say it knowing that it's because God will take you through.
Right.
Notice I changed my voice. Sorry about that. But the whole idea is that it's made people lose their faith because they think,
I felt like I couldn't handle it.
so where was God?
Right.
They don't. The teaching wasn't right. It wasn't accurate.
Yeah.
Or it's caused them just to refuse it. I don't want anything to do with this faith of yours or this God of yours. If
he's up to that, then
correct.
I don't wanna do it.
And so that just you've got to think about that.
You do.
And so those pivotal circumstances are why we have things here at church for people to be involved in, to be around people, to care for them, and we have a whole care network of ministry that we do to take care of that, and it's just so important.
Yeah.
And that's why being in a smaller group of people,
Yeah.
They're there for you during those pivotal circumstances. It's why you get the practical teaching. It's why you do the private disciplines, so that when a pivotal circumstance happens, you know exactly what to do.
Right.
And how to handle it. And personal ministry, the whole idea is you're ready to minister or serve other people. Right. And then that helps you to get through your own pivotal circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting outside of yourself can sometimes, and be thinking of others can oftentimes help you know how to even deal with or process the stuff going on in your life too.
No kidding, because Jesus even said that. And then John, in those letters he wrote later on after Jesus' resurrection, many years after Jesus ascended back to heaven, he wasn't even there, but he wrote to these people who were being challenged by false teachers about the resurrection and about Jesus. And he said, one of the marks that's going to be different about people who truly are followers of Jesus is they truly have love for each other.
Yeah.
And they love other people. And so
wow.
It's going to be important during anybody's life when they have a pivotal circumstance like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I had thought I wanted to ask you how we can make sure that we're ready for pivotal circumstances, but that is the answer, man. That's
it really
where
is.
it's at right there.
Yeah. And all of these things that God uses, there are crazy things you hear at church that, or at church, or hopefully not here at this church. The point is that we're kind of calling it out so that we don't find ourselves saying it or doing it. And it's those things that grow our faith, not these other things, or that you have to be qualified for God to grow your faith. None of us are qualified for God to do anything for us. He did it because he loved us.
Right.
And so that's just, it's kind of a great thing that we've had. But you mentioned that, we're going to have somebody come in and take care of it.
Yes.
So
I didn't know if you wanted to give that away. So
let's just put it this way: I won't be the dominant one on that Sunday at all. Who's delivering the message? We've asked a good friend to be a part of that service with us that day, who's going to be able to really walk us through what pivotal circumstances are and how they grow your faith. And I'm excited for him to be
Me
able to
too. It's going to be good, and I'm excited to hear from him as well. So that's how we can be prepared for pivotal circumstances to come. But real quickly, what would you say to somebody who possibly is watching or listening and thinking the pivotal circumstances are already here and I wasn't ready for them? What kind of advice or encouragement would you have for somebody who's feeling that today?
Well, I will say this. God is not far. He knows what's going on, and he cares and loves you more than you could ever imagine. And I think of the words of James, who basically said, if you draw near to God, this is chapter 4, and the first part of verse 8 there, it says, if you draw near to God, he'll draw near to you. And I think of other passages, the Lord is near. When I hear that passage from Ephesians, and I think of the fact that, God is not far away. We're the ones who probably have withdrawn. Well, probably we're the ones who withdraw when we go through stuff like this, and we feel like the world's against us. And quite honestly, that's a lie. We're not alone. That's why, having relationships in your life of other people, but also on top of that, drawing close to him is so critical. So don't ever think that you're by yourself. And, literally, we're here at Faircreek Church. We we're offering ourselves to you to help you go through that, walk through those pivotal circumstances with you. And, you're not going to find that we're perfect at it because we're humans, but we're going to do it because it's important to your faith, but it's also important to ours. And so I would say that you've got to have people in your life. Primarily, though, you've got to be able to draw near to him, and he's right there.
Right.
He's not far at all.
And it's never too late to do it. It's you may feel like, well, I was ill prepared, but here I am. I just have to deal with it on my own now because it's already here, and I don't have anybody, or I don't have a relationship with God. It's never too late to start it. It's never too late to rally some people around you. Like you said, we are here. If you want to reach out to us, it's not too late to do that. So pull some people around you. You'd be surprised what even some of the casual relationships in your life would be willing to do for you if they just knew that what you were dealing with. And then it's never too late to start a relationship with God, or to rekindle a relationship with God, even if maybe you feel like, I knew him as a kid, I just haven't invested in it in a long, long time. That's okay. He's ready and he's waiting. So it's never too late.
Or, when I go back to it and say, you've taken the risk of reaching out to people before and they've let you down, don't let that stop you, because especially God has a way of wanting to bring people into your life that can care for you and can love you. And one thing you can know this is that he's always there.
Yeah.
And so I look to, those things in my own life when I go through them. But, and, man, it wouldn't be right if we didn't say too, that, if you feel like your life is over and it's not worth anything, or it's not valuable, let me remind you, your life was so valuable that Jesus came to this earth to die in your place and to pay a penalty, a debt that your sin has caused in your life. And he did that because he loved you.
Right.
And so there's not one person that is exempt from that.
Right. And definitely the writers of the Bible teach that he knew you personally when he made that choice to do that. He didn't just make this one big blanket sacrifice that said, well, that'll just kind of cover whoever. He knew you personally when he made that choice to do that. He thought of you when he did it. So yeah, it is because he loved you specifically.
For sure.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this clip from the Think On It podcast. If you would like to hear this episode in its entirety, check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, or just click on the link below to listen to the entire episode. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.